Unaware her husband was a billionaire's only heir, wife and family threw him out at midnight into the freezing cold. What he did next crushed them all. Lauren stood in the doorway of their modest apartment, her arms crossed in disgust as she stared at her husband, the man she'd married 2 years ago, the man she now considered nothing more than dead weight. Behind her, her mother and 2 younger brothers nodded in agreement, their faces twisted with contempt as 12 a.m. struck and the winter cold seeped through the open door, where all his belongings lay scattered on the pavement outside. They had no idea that the trembling man before them, nursing a bruised jaw from the punch her brother had just delivered, was a billionaire's only heir, a secret he'd kept buried since the day he'd returned from the UK and started working as an ordinary financial analyst in his own father's company. But tonight, as they threw him out into the freezing cold without mercy, without hesitation, that secret would remain hidden just a little longer. What he did next would shatter everything they thought they knew about power, about wealth, and about the pathetic man they'd just discarded like garbage. Viewers, what would you do if your wife and her family kicked you out of your own very house at midnight into the freezing cold? Drop your thoughts in the comment. The December wind cut through Elliot Matthews like 1,000 frozen knives as he stood on the sidewalk, his breath forming clouds that dissipated into the darkness above the Queen Street. His jaw throbbed where Kyle's fist had connected, a sharp, pulsing pain that radiated up into his skull with each heartbeat. The metallic taste of blood filled his mouth from where his teeth had cut the inside of his cheek, but Elliot didn't wipe it away. He stood perfectly still, cataloging every sensation, every detail, every sound that drifted down from the 3rd-floor window, where 4 people were celebrating what they believed was their liberation from a burden they'd carried too long. His belongings were scattered across the pavement in humiliating disarray. A black garbage bag had split open, spilling shirts and jeans onto the dirty concrete. Books lay splayed with broken spines, their pages fluttering in the wind. The framed photograph of his mother, taken 3 months before the car accident that had killed her when Elliot was 19, lay face down near a storm drain, the glass cracked into a spiderweb pattern that distorted her smile. Everything he'd owned in that apartment, everything that had comprised his life for the past 2 years, was now refuse on a public street. From the window above, laughter drifted down. Lauren's voice, bright and animated in a way Elliot hadn't heard directed at him in months. "I swear to God, Mom, you should have seen his face when I told him we should get divorce. He actually looked surprised, like he didn't see this coming." Patricia's response was muffled, but the tone was unmistakably gleeful. More laughter followed, then the sound of a cork popping. Champagne, probably, or the Prosecco Lauren favored for celebrations. They were toasting his removal from their lives, toasting Lauren's freedom, toasting the future they imagined would be so much brighter without the dead weight of a husband who couldn't even keep a job dragging her down. Elliot pulled his phone from his pocket with fingers that had gone numb from the cold. The screen's glow hurt his eyes in the darkness, but he steadied his hands and unlocked his phone. His finger hovered over the first number. The first call connected on the second ring. 911, what's your emergency? Elliot's voice was steady despite everything. "I need to report an assault. My name is Elliot Matthews. I'm at 447 Greenpoint Avenue, apartment 3B. 2 men attacked me in my home approximately 90 minutes ago, punched me in the face, shoved me into a doorframe, then forcibly evicted me from my own apartment. They're still inside. Brandon Morrison and Kyle Morrison. I have visible injuries and I'd like to press charges." The dispatcher's voice shifted from routine to alert. "Sir, are you in immediate danger? Do you need medical assistance?" "I'm outside the building now. My injuries are painful but not life-threatening. Swollen jaw, bruised ribs,